Shalom Israel. We're the I.S.U.P.K out of 1 West 125th Street, New York, under commanding General YAHANNA. Alright, tonight is our Lashawan Qadash. I'm Officer Priest and Officer Yakad. Alright, holding on the Lashawan Qadash, which is really our holy tongue. Alright? What we understand that so-called blacks, so-called Hispanics, so-called Native Indians, that we have been stripped of most of our language, customs, and heritage. But here in I.S.U.P.K under commanding General YAHANNA, we will be able to get back, that part of us. Because every group, every nation, every people has a language, has a custom, has a heritage. And our language, custom, and heritage is this Bible, right? We are the true Jews, the so-called blacks, so-called Hispanics, so-called Native Indians. We are the lost 12 tribes of the nation of Israel. So tonight we're going to go through some common words. So we're going to get ourselves familiar, right, back with, the basics of the Hebrew language. As with any language, we have to be able to understand the basics. Once we get the basics, then you can be able to expand on almost any area of what a language is. So tonight we're going to do some common words, as well as we're going to run through, always try the best to run through the basics, which is the Hebrew alphabet, just to refresh and reiterate, because it's something that you keep on having clear in your mind, so that when you're going or you're proceeding to any other aspect of the Hebrew language, it will be much more easier for you to grasp and to understand what is being taught, what is being said. Right? So what we're going to do is just quickly run through once more the Hebrew alphabet before we start to jump into the common words that we would usually work with. So the R, so we're going to go through the simple basic aspects of the alphabet. It's really normal. The A, Ba, Ga, writing so you need to get clear. A, Ba, Ga. Wa, Da, Ka, Sa, Ya, Ka, La, Ma, Na, Sa, Pa, Sa, Sa, Kwa, Ra, Sha, That's the basics. Get the teaching stick. So, common words, which we're going to treat the alphabet quickly. Again, A, Ba, Ga, Da, Ha, Wa, Za, Ka, Sa, Ya, Ka, La, Ma, Na, Sa, I, Pa, Ta, Za, Kwa, Ra, Sha, Tha. So I'm going to give you all a few minutes, at least for those who now tuning into the Lashawan Qadash. Those who are familiar know you already have a good grasp of what it is, but it's always good just to refresh it so that as we're moving forward, especially when we're doing the common words, that we'll be able to catch it and to be able to understand how to pronounce the words, how to pronounce the letters. We'll have a mixture of all the aspects, which would be the pronunciation, the connectors, and the meanings, and the sound of each Hebrew word, each Hebrew letter, as we move forward. So, now that we have that lock, give you all a minute again to get that down. Again, log on to us on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, all the social media handles. Facebook, we have our classes basically almost every day for the week. We have Monday, which is we have commanding GEN.YAHANNA with the grill. Right? But first we have GEN.YAHANNA with the scripture breakdown on Mondays. That's at around 7 p.m. till 9. Then right after that we have the grill with commanding GEN.YAHANNA, giving you all the current events, all the stuff that happening throughout the world, all the prophecies, and laying it down as real as it is for the so-called blacks, so-called Hispanics, so-called Native Indians. Then we have, even for our local class, we have the Monday class, which is the history class with Officer Makakobal, right, all on the history class. Then we have also on Tuesday, we have the brotherhood class with Officer Sawapyala. Wednesday, we have the law class, and the law class is done with Officer Makwayak. We have Thursday, which is the scripture breakdown with General Mahaiman. Right, that's another big, good breakdown. We can all the scriptures that we need, whatever questions you have, we can forward it, especially to that particular class. Then we have Fridays, which we have the so-called, we have the Hebrew tongue, the Lashawan Qadash, which is done by myself, Professor Yakad. And we have also the Sabbath service, which is also done on Saturdays. Right, it's a requirement by the Most High, by the law. That's also done in collaboration with myself and Officer Sawapia Allah. As well, we have the Sunday class as well, which is also be done by Officer Galawan, our camp leader. He also does the Sunday class, which is also a scripture breakdown as well. So now that you have that lock, so you have an idea of all the classes being done, you can be able to tune into any one of those classes as you see fit. So again, like, share, and subscribe. Check it out. Come back and learn your history, your culture, and heritage, so that you can be able to understand who you are, both blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. So now we have alphabet. You all get familiar with it. So now we're going to go in a little deeper and get into the actual common words. Now, as with any language, there are certain parts that certain things that we use almost on an everyday or daily basis. There are some common things that we usually interact with. So that being done, It's done on the better. Things going clean and nice. So, good. So, we have here now our common words. So some of the most common words or common elements that we have, especially in nature, we have like the basics. So we have stuff like we have the what we call the sun, we have the moon, we have trees, and we have the common aspect of things that we use on a daily basis, common words. So what we're going to do is go through some of these in terms of the basics. So we're going to do in terms of you wake up in the morning, you're up during the day. So we're going to go through all the basics of interaction with the daylight, night, morning, evening, etc. Now there will be some slight variations to get the context of actually what the word is saying. So that we have day, so they write the English, the pronunciation of it in the Hebrew, and you're going to write the actual Hebrew, which is all on the same. So we're going to run through these first few that we have here. So what we have here is day, which is Yawam. Yawam. Now we have day, which is Yawam. Day talking about, or like you say, like today, or this day. So this is the context or the pronunciation of a day, which is Yawam. Yawam, Ya, and Wa, and Ma. In this case, the Wam is, we have here the connector. That makes it the Wam. So it's pronounced Yawam. Yawam. Now, in the context of we're talking about a day, which is singular, when we talk about days, so you see we have 3 days, 4 days, 5 days. In the plural aspect, we have the days as yum yum. So that is days. In the plural context, yum yum. We're going to continue to look at the context. So we find this here. So you have this here, which is the days. Right, so we have yum yum, which is days. It's ya, ma, So it's yum, yum. As we say, according to I.S.U.P.K, say yum yum, but it's yum yum. Yum yum, which is the plural of day, which is days. We have also here morning. So we go into another context in terms of, from day, days, morning, go down to evening, and run down that whole spectrum. So the same morning, right, is bakwa. Bakwa. So if you want to say good morning, you would say, in this aspect, these are different color. If you want to say good day, to say good in Hebrew is towab. Right? So we say tawab. Tawab. So you say tawab yawam. You want to say good day? Tawab yawam. Same thing when you say good morning, and you're saying tawab kwa. So you want to say good morning to your mother, father, brother, sister, aunt, uncle, niece, whoever it is. You will say tawab bakwa. Good morning. So you say good morning, and this is the context in which you will be able to understand. So bakwa is morning. You want to say good morning tawab bakwa. So that's just one of the contexts we can use going forward. So it's tawab bakwa. So now we're going to go into a few more. So we're going to put this here. Right, so we have this. So we're going to go into some more. So you have these first few. I can leave that any, but still have a little space. So we have day and days. We have morning. Let's see what says daylight. So we're going to have this one here. It is light. It is L-I-G-H-T. So light in the Hebrew is a war. Always remember we are putting the connectors so we get to understand the pronunciation of these words. So we have a war, which is light. So let's put some combinations here now. If you want to say, well, you had to make a shift later. What shift you making? I want to make a shift tomorrow. Somebody might ask here, what shift you making? I'm making a daylight shift. So if you want to say daylight, so you won a war. So let's write it down so you can get better context. You want to say daylight. You say it in the context of one word. You can add daylight. That's how, in context, like how we just speak straightforward. And that is it. So you can add daylight shift. You want a war. So I'm going to take this off. So I hope you all have these down here locked. This lock is squeezing one more below here before I take off the rest. I'm going to give you a few minutes to write them down. So we have right, so we have days, morning, light. So we have morning, we have light. So the next one we will come with to get into the context, we will have evening. So evening, hope you all can see it properly on the Facebook and the YouTube. So evening is Iran. So that's the context there. So even if you want to say good morning, or so first thing you want to say good day. Now tawab in the Hebrew is good. Just to get context. So we have here tawab is good. So just to bring context to what you're writing on here, you have, if you want to say good morning, you say tawab yawam. So it's like a good day. Tawab Yawam. That's good day. You have days. We say, well, good days, but you have good days. Again, context. They will say Tawab Yum Yum. Or we had real good days, boy. Yeah? When I went to school, in the primary school, secondary school, some person would say go to college, middle school for those, like in the US would use middle school to be like primary school, secondary school. I had real good days in school. They would say Tawab Yum Yum. Good days. I would tell somebody good morning. Tell somebody good morning, you meet them on the street, you would say Tawab Bakwa. Good morning. Then you look at least another context. Somebody say what you're seeing properly. That's how we would speak. Especially in the Caribbean, it is a really broken, and we have these sayings with it. It's a very straightforward type of speaking that we have. We very rarely speak so-called proper English. Very rare. So, for instance, I might be doing something here, and somebody might ask, you seeing good? Yeah, good light? What do you mean, yeah, good light? Yeah, good light, I see him good. So, that is how we just speak. And when you look at how Hebrew is basically saying it's very straightforward language, straight to the point, no issues, no schism. So if you want to say good light, if you're seeing properly, or the light is shining properly, you say, yeah, but I have good light. So you would say Tawab a wall. Tawab a wall. Again, using the same context of good to get understanding of how to use it in the language. You have evening. You're passing on the road, you just finished work, 3-4 o'clock in the afternoon, you would say, good evening. So you would say Tawab Irab. You would say good evening. Right? And that is how we would use to be able to function, to put the language together. And sometimes it may look difficult, but when we get back to our heritage, how easy it is for us to really to be able to adapt to our culture, adapt to our language. So I'm going to give you one more minute, and from here we're going to jot down and get some more common words that we would use every day so that we'll be able to put it in our vocabulary to be able to get it done, to communicate with each other better on a daily basis. And the more you get intake, the more you use, just as how you would want to learn Spanish, you would want to learn French, which is bastardized languages from the ancient Hebrew. Same way we learn our original tongue, holy tongue, the Lashawan Qadash. So we're going to get this down. Let me check some stuff here. And so, I will not take it out here now. So, I'm gonna take these off. I'm gonna run through another set. You have here night, you have day. The night is sun, we're putting moon. The moon is your rock. So we have some more words here that we'll be able to work with. So now we have the night, we have sun, we have moon. All these are common things or common see if I can find the word. Elements, if you want to use it, or objects in terms of the sun and the moon. You see the sun in the sky, you also see the moon at different times of the day. You know, the sun during the day makes the place hot. In the night times, when the moon is out, most times it's very cool. So, an understanding, this here is night. So, la yala, la yala, la ya la. We connect us once again to be able to get the proper pronunciation. So, la yala is night. Then we have the sun, not as in sun as in male, but sun as in the sun in the sky, which is shamash. Shamash is pronounced shamash. So sun is shamash. Sha, ma, and sha. The moon is pronounced yarak. Yarak. Yaraka. Yaraka. In this case, it's the extra A is dropped off and just Yarak. And now we have here hot, which is ham. Ham. Now, this word ham, which is hot, is also used as a name for one of the sons of Noah, which is Shem, Ham, and Japheth. So because Ham means hot, it gives a basically a description of the people, of a dark skin type people, Ham. So this can also be used as Ham in context of the people. But this is the pronunciation, is hot. So this we could pull this up on the Bible app, Blue Letter Bible. So to get an understanding of the breakdown of it. So, and if you'll be able to see it on the let's make it the other way. Should be a little better. Right. So if you look at the translation, so we have the pronunciation which is ham. So it's ham, which equals to hot. Right? And Ham was the name of one of the sons of Noah. Now, if you also look and you pull up, this was the enough of Ham with H2526. Right, H2526 is Ham or Kham. In this case, they have one A, but this is a proper spelling of it. Now, if you pull up, we say hot. Let's get that up now. You're going to see it is interchangeable. So you're going to get hot, you're going to say sweet, that's right. That's hot. In this context, you have waxed hot. H2552. If you watch the translation, the outline biblical usage, to be hot, become warm. So that's just the breakdown of just this word, which is ham or ham. We use in the breakdown of one of the sons of Noah, which is Ham, the African, those stinking Africans. So, but also in context of what we was using earlier, or if you want to say good night, it would be Tawab la Yala. So you're on the road, jump in a taxi from work, it's get dark, jump in a maxi, you say good night. But to say good night in Hebrew is Tawab la Yala. Tawab la Yala. Tawab la Yala. That is good night. So then we read on here to sun. Say, boy, this sun real. But like right now in the Caribbean, the past couple of days, past couple of weeks, I'm not sure if it's because of probably some of the storms in the of the Caribbean chains or Florida side, but these past couple of days and weeks has been extremely, extremely hot. So to say sun in the Hebrew is shamash, moon is yorak, and hot is ham. Now, in using another combination, we would say, boy, today it had a real hot sun. Again, that is how we speak. You say, boy, it had a real hot sun today. So hot sun would be ham shamash. Ham shamash. Kam Shamash, hot summer. That's how we would say. And bringing or forming words, sentences together. So we have these four. Get those down. I hope you'll have them down. I'll give you about another minute just to take it down. We're going to get a few more in. Just to be able to understand. Right, so now we have this lock. We'll just get some more now. Again, like, share, and subscribe. So we have the last thing we can do now, cold. And also with cold, I said before I do cold, put it in context. So we have summer, which also relates to our hot time. So we have summer. We have winter. We have cold. So summer is Ya to Za. Winter is Khara. Cold is Kwa. Ancient Hebrew. Did he say? Cold is rock. So we have hot, cold, so we have summer, we have winter, we have cool. So summer is Koya to Za. Koya to Za. Koya to Za is summer. Winter is Kara. 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 And cold is Kora. 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 Cold. So when we say we had what? A good summer. To Wab Koya to Za. A good summer. Some people would have what we call a good winter. They don't have much storms. They don't have nothing too out of the ordinary, nothing too fierce. They had a good winter. Towab Kara. Towab Kara. Cold is Kara. And it's so kind of ironic how we just speak. So we would say, boy, how things was, boy, I think was real dread. Or we'd say, boy, how cold the place was, boy, the place was good cold, boy. Now we use sometimes those it's called oxymorons. I don't get the proper word for that, but it's in context we use almost the opposite to what we actually mean. So you would say, how good that thing is, but that thing real good, or that thing real bad. So in context, I say that car looking real bad, but bad in the context of not bad as in not good, but bad as in real good. So you see where that context is, and that's how black people talk. This is how Israelites talk. All the blacks, all the Hispanics, all the Native Indians. It's part of our DNA, how we speak in that particular way. So, somebody will say, boy, how cold it was, boy? How cold it was in New York. Boy, it was good cold. But good cold in a bad way. So you see where the contexts are. So that's why when you get to understand how blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians speak, then you get a much more easier understanding of how Hebrew is. So, I'm going to run this up a little more. Sweet. So, we will have this down. So now we're going to go into some more fine-tuning aspects of common words or common phrases. So I'm going to put these down. Now before we do that, we have the Day of Atonement coming up, which is September the 26th at sundown. Right, we're going to afflict our souls. And afflicting our souls in the aspect no food and no water, no drink for 24 hours. So that is sundown, Saturday evening at sunset to sundown on Sunday evening at sunset. No food, no water. So once that is how we afflict our souls, for us to be able to understand that we can be able to fight these demons. You know, whatever you're going through, whatever you have, whatever struggles you may have that you may be going through, and say, nah, I can't do. You know, this is too much for me. You would suffer your soul so that you'll be able to conquer those demons moving forward. So, let's write the atonement. So we're going to write the Day of Atonement. Is Yawam. Remember, Yawam means day, and Kapawa. Kapawa is atonement. So, Day of Atonement is Yawam Kapawa, Day of Atonement. adding these words here, which is, this I can write it out in Hebrew, is Yawam, Kappa. Kappa, War. So it's Yawam, let's get it on context, Yawam, Kappa, War. Kappa, War. That is Day of Atonement. So let me see if we can pull this up. Again in the data bio. And you will get all the understanding of the Day of Atonement in Leviticus chapter 23, from verse 26, I think 27 to 32. Speaking about the Day of Atonement. So I just pull it up here and do that. Right, so they have it as Kippur, but the proper pronunciation is Kappa, Kappa. Let's pull it back, which is atonement. So Day of Atonement is Yawam, Kappa, Day of Atonement. So you have Day of Atonement when we put now the time. What is time in Hebrew? So time is Sha'ai. That is time. Sha'ai. Sha'ai. That is time in Hebrew. What I'm going to do, give me a minute to take that down, and then I'm going to move on some words. That's how I think I should be able to take this off here now. Get some more. What? Why? So who is Maya? Run a little smaller, so I get some more in. So we have who, we have what, we have where, when, this one we have why. So who is Maya? What is Ma'a? Where is Aya? When is Mahya? Why is mother why? Right in the Hebrew, start here. So it's ma, da, why. Ma, ya, ma, da, ya. Where is a ya? What is ma'a? And maya. There you have it. We have who, what, where, when, and why. Very much common words we use every single day. Who went on the road? What they do? Where they went? When did they go? And why did they go? Who is Maya? Is Maya? Separate connectors. It's not joints, it's pronounced Maya. What is Ma'a or Ma'a? Ma. It is silent. Ma'a. Where? Aya. Ya. what is a Yah? So like here, we have where. Where is a Yah? The Yah and the Ha connected. We have when, which is Math Yah. Put this in. It's Math Yah. So Math Yah. Then we have Y. Mother Y. Mother Y. And we see where the connections are. Mother Y. So I'm going to give you a few minutes. Jot this down. Keep it in your vocabulary. Use it every day. When I say, who you going by? But yeah, who? What you going to do? Ma, where? A ya. When? Mathya. Why? Mother why? Mother why? You want to do so? Mother why? So it already has that familiar type context here. Mother why? So we're going to run through a few more. So you can get these locked in our system. Keep repeating it. You know, once you make it a habit, it will be able to stick and you'll actually get to see and understand how the application is throughout the scripture. Take them. So we're going to run through a few more. So get here now. So we went through who, what, where, why, and when. So we're going to go through a few more. So we're going to go through was, once, eligible. So we have was is ayata. Ayat, ayata. And we have Slovakia. Let's flip it around. So it's actually ayata is was. Is was, once is Rataza, way is the rock. Rock. And we have this, say masculine, and then this feminine in context. So the masculine is Azar, Oza. The feminine is Za'a. So you have this is Za'af. Za'af. And that's the conclusion and the last one. So you have was, which is ayatha, ayatha, ayat, ayat, ayat. Then we have want, which is rataza, rataza. It is silent, rataza. Why? Direct, direct. Daraka, daraka, direct. This, in the male aspect, is Azah. Azah. Azah or Zah. Feminine is Zah. Zah. So this is just a few of the words, commonly used words that we use on a basic everyday basis. Next class we'll be able to expound a little more, expand it a bit, see the application in terms of complete sentences. You can use passages in the scriptures, and from there we'll be able to line them up, get them up and running, put body in terms of context of using all these words that we used this week. So we're going to go into the scriptures, see where they're being used, and see all the context in where they're being used. With that, we're going to lock it off from here tonight. We're going to do the announcements. We are the I.S.U.P.K out of 1 West 125th Street, Hall, New York, under commanding General Yohanna. New rules for brothers and sisters. When a brother or sister comes into the school, they are off limits for 6 months. They are to be saluted only. They are here to shed themselves of the world. After 6 months, if a brother or sister has an interest in a particular person, he or she must get permission from the head to speak to a brother or sister. There is another 6 months in which a brother or sister will court each other. After this 6-month period, the brother or sister will get permission from the head to marry. Tithes, which is a commandment. You can find this in Numbers chapter 18, verse 21, and Malachi from chapter 3, verse 8 to 10. Means tenth in the Hebrew, and it's pronounced Ma'ashara. 10% of any increase the Lord gives you, give to the treasury department or teacher. Priest fund, free will offering for priests, not mandatory. Whatsoever amount you would like to give. Upcoming Holy Convocation, we have the Day of Atonement, which is the 26th of September at sundown. You can find this in Leviticus chapter 23, from verse 27 to 32. Remind Akim and Akwathiam. Check on social media such as I.S.U.P.K.com, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and so on for I.S.U.P.K events and materials. If your brother wants to be a trooper in the